Did you know that by 2050, nearly 70% of the world's population is projected to live in urban areas? This massive urbanization wave underscores the critical need for smart city development and advanced infrastructure technology. Now, focus today is on how leading organizations are shaping this future, pushing the boundaries of what's possible. The infrastructure sector is in a constant state of flux, driven by rapid technological advancements and evolving market demands. To remain competitive, organizations must be agile and adaptable. And it's not just about keeping up. It is about staying ahead. This is where fostering a culture of innovation becomes crucial. Now, innovation isn't just a buzzword, it's a necessity. Organizations that continually push the boundaries of what's possible in infrastructure technology are the ones leading the charge towards smarter, more sustainable cities. What does this look like in practice? How do these projects impact the communities and customers they serve? Ensuring positive and sustainable outcome is more important than ever, and forward-thinking organizations are taking significant measures to achieve this. The long-term vision for contributing to the advancement of infrastructure technology and smart city development is transforming the way we think about urban living. Hello and a very warm welcome to ET Studios NextGen Infra in association with ET Infra. I'm your host Hemanshi Tewari. Now today, for this episode, we'll be delving into the transformative power of innovation in building the cities of tomorrow. For this episode, we are joined in by Nicolas Schenk, who is the Chief Development Officer at Noida International Airport, and Raman, who is the President and CEO, Buildings and Infra at Tata Projects. Gentlemen, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
All right. In our past episodes, we have spoken about smart cities, what constitutes smart cities, and how infrastructure technology is actually revolutionizing our cities. But when we talk about smart cities, what is your long-term vision in terms of your company embracing these sort of technologies and advancing towards the more smarter cities and smarter future? Maybe we can start with you, Nicolas.
Thank you for that question, which is a very important question for an airport operator, what we are. Because an airport is kind of looked at as a city in itself. We have from landside road systems up to airside terminal, all the same functions or similar functions as you will find in the city. And for us, we want to be kind of a cutting edge leader using these technology, offering seamless passenger experience to our guests and customers. We want to offer a very efficient infrastructure for our airlines, which will be operating at our airport, but also for our other partners, be it on the commercial side, that in our overall ecosystems, we will offer the best use of the latest technology for which we have partnered up with.
All right, absolutely. Now, Raman, what is your long-term vision when it comes to your company, helping towards our vision of moving towards more smarter future and smarter cities?
Thank you, Hemanshi, for this question. See, for smarter cities, you need a smarter infrastructure. Yeah, and smarter infrastructure actually is nothing but integration of your advanced technology like IoTs, right, and big data solutions and AI, which actually create a smarter cities, right? So this approach actually brings a lot of efficiency, sustainability, and connectivity, right? By enabling real-time data monitoring and connecting various components of the infrastructure. So smart infrastructure backing smart cities, right, actually create a very responsive and resilience infrastructure, right? With that, the governance also improves, and the policies makers have, through AI, they have the more, I would say, a data in hand to decide adequacy of their policies, right? So, as far as my organization is concerned, we are working on many of the smart city projects. We have done few projects in India, on the smart lighting. We have done projects in Noida, Nasik, Ludhiana and Pune, right? So basic idea was to replace all the lights with LED light, make those lights intelligent lights. You know, they adjust the lighting as per the pedestrian movements or as per the ambient light. So, you know, these kind of things. If I talk about the numbers, the overall savings is around 1,000 crores put together in all these projects. So, it's around 50 to 60% of your conventional lighting. So, you know, we are targeting such kind of a projects. More and more things will come. On the smart metering side, Tata Group is doing a lot of work, if not my organization. So there are lot many things happening on the smart city project, and we are very, very upbeat on this.
All right, you know, you spoke about IoT, AI, big data, integrating all these technologies. Now, as a layman, I know all these terms, but how are you actually integrating it in your projects, and what results are we seeing? Because we know, you know, there's some sort of technology, we are talking about infrastructure tech, but how is it helping us?
See, and these are, you know, three basically tools, I would say, to use technology in the infrastructure space. IoT basically encompasses digitization, right? Which has actually sparked the way many entities are working, right? Be it a government, be it a private, or be it individuals. So that is, you know, creating a lot of data, you know, and this data which we are handling, you know, IoT is basically nothing, is capturing the data and transferring the data, right? And artificial intelligence, what it is doing, it is basically interpreting that data, right? So then again, it is, you know, giving you option, you know, which is your option. For example, if I talk about predictive maintenance of an asset, right? It is happening through AI. So what you are doing, you are creating a digital twin, right? Physical asset as well as the virtual asset, right? So you are actually replicating the actual condition of the asset through a digital mode, and also putting in some historical data there, right? So finally, you are able to predict how the asset is going to behave under different conditions. So you can, you know, take proactive steps to manage that. And as far as big data is concerned, this is a basis for, you know, using these technologies. So history shows that, you know, the interpretation and the processing of data actually enrich the urban fabric.
All right, and I'll come to that point, because when it comes to processing of data, there are many biases involved, but that's a different question. I'll come back to that. But for you, Nicolas, you know, this whole Noida International Airport project is a greenfield project for you, right? All, you know, the areas near Yamuna Expressway, they are now growing smarter, and, you know, a lot of companies are betting big on that area. But how at Noida International Airport, which is also a dream project for the UP government, are you utilizing these sort of technologies to, you know, kind of enhance your passenger experience and also operational efficiency at the airport?
Thank you for that question, and it's not only a dream project for the government of UP, but it's also for us of Noida Airport, a dream project at the dream location within a dream region. And I think it also, what was said earlier, it all adds up of like the different use cases you need to look at. At an airport, we look at total airport management, meaning it's not only kind of like trying to solve an issue at one security queuing. It's kind of like, how can you serve your passenger best from A to B, meaning from his starting point of his journey until the end point, where the time at the airport is just kind of like one part of it. But that all should be very well integrated into his overall journey and his experience, and that should be as seamless as possible. For that, we are working with using mobile devices as kind of like replacing to some extent the touch points, where you can kind of like use your device for the check-in, or you can use for uploading your data, so that you have a seamless passenger journey, paperless passenger journey throughout the arrival at the airport, kind of from the Yamuna Express Highway. You should be able to know do I have a car park? Do I need a car park? Or is there kind of like traffic jams? What would be the best way how to get there? How much time do I need to process through the e-gates? We will have e-gates at the entrance of the terminal so that you can follow your personal sequence and pace. Equally, on the check-in side, we are implementing self-bag drops where you don't have to wait for the counter to be freed up and you kind of interacting. You can kind of like do it at your own pace. Okay. Hopefully the pace is faster, so that would increase again. One reason why you do smart infrastructure, the efficiency of the infrastructure, the use of the infrastructure, so that you can within the same building you can have an enhanced efficiency or an enhanced capacity, so to bring through or to process more passengers within the same area given for operations. But then also on the security touch points, we do live capturing of queuing data so that we can kind of like based on live data decide if we have to open more security lines or we can reduce. So also resource efficiency we will be able to build in, and that all goes through till the end until he boards. And on the way after security, you have all the commercial offerings where it is more about the personalized experience. So passenger not only seamless, but it also should be very much personalized. So we will have Starbucks at the airport. So if you are a regular Starbucks customer, you kind of like should have that potential that your hot chai, semi-size coffee, whatever your personal demand is, that you kind of like pre-order that via, again, your end device, your mobile device. That will all enhance your satisfaction while traveling through the airport. Again, repeating, which is only kind of then one part of his overall journey, but that should be as customer-friendly, seamless, and personalized as possible. And that's our aim, and that's where we are working with various technology partners. And maybe in addition, what is very important, that you have live data. I mean, he talked also about big data and how to process data. And the important part is that you have the actual live data available and that you have the right systems. And for that, we have an airport management system in place which processes these data and gives live information to us, but as well as our partners. So kind of like that, we have a very transparent way of sharing this data to make it available for our stakeholders who are operating at the airport, but as well as for you as a customer, as a passenger, that on your end device you kind of like get the information. How long will it take me at the security control? How long will it take me at processing this point? So that you can plan your journey accordingly.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for that answer. You know, Noida Airport is a dream project for a lot of us, but for different reasons. Like, he has flown down from Mumbai to Gurgaon, right? If there would have been a Noida Airport already ready, then probably it would be easy for Raman also today
as they are our partner on the construction side. So I hope that he will then only use the Noida Airport in future as they were building it.
Yes, for sure. No, I just want to add, because Nicolas touched upon the technology used in the operation part, right? But while constructing, also we are using some of the technologies in Noida. So one of the interesting technology which we are using there is basically how to ensure safety at sites, because the construction sites are very prone to accidents.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? We have seen a major accident.
So right? We have deployed AI-based cameras, right? So these what these cameras do, they capture visuals, and then with the help of some deep learning algorithms, they detect whether there is unsafe behavior is being exhibited by somebody at site. For example, if somebody is not wearing a helmet, right? So the camera will pick up, and he will immediately send an alert to the concerned officer, so that needful can be done immediately. Action can be taken. So likewise, if a person is very near to a a moving machinery, right? Then also a signal will trigger, and immediately the corrective action can be taken.
And through that we have achieved more than 40,000 million man hours, safe working man hours.
All right.
to get on this.
Yeah. And other than that, we are also using a lot of drone and as well as optical cameras just to monitor progress, right?
Okay.
With the help of satellite imagery, we can also see that how airport is coming from the foundation to the finishing stage. So all these mappings are happening. The designs were done in an all BIM tool where we initially identified the potential issues. Clash detections were done, right? So virtually we can see the airport and decide the action which need to be taken to address any potential issues.
Yeah, but when are we expecting this to be operational? Because that's the burning question even for me.
The burning question, yes, we will go live with our airport in April next year, 2025.
Wonderful. For this airport to be operational. But on that note, you were talking so much about data. How are you using data, to kind of enhance your passenger experience, to enhance your customer experience for that matter. But one question that I would like to put on you is, how are you kind of helping with the data privacy? You're using a lot of data, right? But how are you ensuring that data remains private and it doesn't go into some illegal or unauthorized hands?
I think that's a very important question, and I think that's probably all over the world one of the biggest topics on data privacy, data security. How can you make sure that the data being captured at an airport while processing passengers is not being misused or cannot be misused by others? With that, of course, you need to have very strict IT security systems in place and an overall legislation which kind of allows for a certain usage, but also it's then about deleting again some data which only can be used over a certain time, while, for example, you are traveling through the airport, so that this data, after you've been kind of moved forward on your journey, that then some of this data is not available anymore and is just kind of used while you are in the system. For that, we're working together with professional global firms, which do have also a lot of experience in that field, and we build up on that to secure that the data being used at Noida International Airport will be as safe and as protected as possible.
Yeah, thank you for telling us that data security is also a priority at Noida International Airport. But gentlemen, when we talk about projects at such big scale, like yours, right? Like you have been a part of so many projects. You've been telling in Nasik, Pune, and Mumbai, and Noida for that matter. But in all these projects, how does collaboration works? How partnerships, how public-private partnership works for you to kind of, be more efficient in what you are actually producing?
So Hemanshi, such kind of projects cannot be successful until you have a collaboration of all the stakeholders, right? It's starting from the government, which is actually letting that project, bid under a PPP model. And then, once you have a bid in place, then you start working with your financial stakeholders, all banking institutions through which you secure the finances. And then you come to a technology part, right? So a lot of partnership in terms of technology. So we have various collaborations happening, right? The suggestions coming from companies like Trimble, which is foremost in the construction solutions. We also take help of Autodesk, right, in developing our 3D models, these kind of things. Then it's a implementation, right? And while implementing, we make sure that the project management tools are also, have some technology component to it, right? The planning part, the design part, and the execution part. And then comes an operation part. If I give you an example of, again, this, street light projects in multiple cities, we have actually, we can divide the entire thing in 4 or 5 pieces. The foremost is basically the real-time capturing of the data, right? Then we have the deficiency analysis, right? So which light is working and which light is not working, right? And then we have asset mapping. that where these lights are located, right? So we can have a real time imagery of all these lights, and then we have a field app where customer actually can anybody any citizen of that location can actually put in grievance, right? And a particular street light is not working, so IVR kind of facilities are given to them. So all these are happening through various stakeholders coming together and creating these kind of projects.
All right. For you, how collaboration and PPPs work in terms of utilizing these sort of infrastructure technologies at Noida International Airport?
Yeah, it's an important question, and at the end, it leads to data sharing and data ownership. And I think this is also one of the areas where probably, besides the data security, which we touched earlier, is kind of like the ownership of data and sharing the data. So we have defined for ourselves a data policy, which we also will work together on that basis with all our stakeholders at the airport, that we have kind of an open approach to data sharing, because we feel if data is available and is made available, it will help to take more informed decisions, and informed decisions again will kind of like reduce the overall, let's say at an airport, very important, the delays. So you can kind of like predict, at the end it's all about predictability, to predict what will happen in the future, and to avoid that like there are delays, or based on special incidents, you will always have some weather impact, or you have any other incidents, so that if you share the live data and if you make it available to your partners, and that we kind of like enforce through policies which we sign together with the people active or with the agencies active at the airport, that this is happening on both sides, so that in a collaborative manner we can take decisions to avoid any kind of delays. I mean, we will never really be able to get all the delays out of the way, but to minimize these impacts. And this is of course an interest for us from a financial perspective, but again, coming back also for the customer, be it the airline or the passengers, so to have, for them also to have a predictable journey throughout our airport.
All right, you've spoken about future, you've spoken about impact. I'm just taking out the keywords, right? But when we talk about future and impact, and we actually combine these two keywords, we come to sustainability, right? So how are you ensuring sustainability at whatever projects you are doing? I think you're very big on renewable energy and utilizing that sort of sustainable methods in your projects, right? So how are you doing it?
Hemanshi, sustainability is a very big word, right?
Yeah.
And apart from the normal sustainability measures like use of biofuels and segregation of wastages, getting our project site to zero water circularity. Other than that, we also have a tech factor to it, right? So we are working in some of the buildings where the mandate to us is to create a energy management system, sort of, right? So where you can actually control the energy consumption, right? So it's a concept called the grid, smart grid, right? So basically you utilize the energy the way it is required, not overuse it, right? So there is a research, or there is a data available that with the use of technology in order to create green buildings, you have a saving of around 15 to 20%, right, on the energy fronts. So basically we are a EPC company. So whenever we get such kind of a job, so basically it's a requirement of a owner, which we fulfill.
Yeah. You're working on those green certifications and all of that, right?
Yes, some LEED certified buildings also we have done.
All right.
So Parliament is one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one example. Now for you, Nicolas, how sustainability works? How are you ensuring sustainability at Noida International Airport?
Sustainability for us is at the forefront of all of our activities. So for us, it is really kind of like something embedded in our culture, what we want to achieve. As we belong to Zurich Airport, globally, Zurich Airport has given themselves the target to be operating net zero from 2040 onwards. And that, of course, has also given us the tasks, and we took up that challenge also with the Greenfield project, that we can implement certain measures already from day one of the project, meaning starting on the design, setting some targets that there are also, like, whatever carbon footprint not being, whatever carbon not being exposed to the air is kind of better than kind of saving it somewhere else. So implementing that in the design, having very early in the stage kind of passive design measures, like let's say using A, from a material perspective, or B, at our terminal we have a courtyard within the building which will help, or within the terminal area, which will help to kind of reduce the area which has to be cooled down by AC, because then we can kind of work on a natural cooling system basis. That will help to reduce the carbon footprint of that building. Equally, we have implemented other systems, kind of like a grid system for the whole energy supply, for the central utility plant, for all to cool down the buildings. We don't do it only individually for each building, but we have kind of worked on a grid system. But to summarize, it starts also, we have 3 main points: the net zero water, net zero waste, and net zero energy. And on the water side, for us, it's kind of like capturing the rainwater, harvesting the rainwater, and also from a sewage, treating the sewage water so that it can be reused again in the buildings for flushing, for irrigation, for car washing, wherever in these areas it is possible. With that, we kind of reduce the overall intake, fresh intake of water, and through that having a positive impulse on like achieving a net zero water circular. On waste is processing the waste, producing LNG, which then again can be used out of the bio waste. That product can then be used for fueling of vehicles, to have kind of like a sustainable chain in itself when it comes to waste. And on the energy side as well, that we kind of like move to net zero. And one of these measures is, for example, that together with our partners on the ground handling, that for all the vehicles which do exist in the ground handling on the air side as EV, so electrical vehicles, we will work with electrical vehicles to kind of reduce also the overall footprint of our operations. So one is on the building, but also on the operational side, among these 3: water, waste, and energy.
All right, the vision is big, but the vision is also sustainable. On that note, we started from your long-term vision for your organizations. We are ending it on sustainability. But as we are wrapping up this conversation, I want to understand from you about the future trends that you both are seeing in the infrastructure technology space in India, and where we are currently in India when it comes to this space. Maybe we can start with you, Raman.
Hemanshi, I would say we are at a very nascent stage, a lot to catch up, but the estimate is that 40% of the project going forward will have a tech factor, right? So everybody want to use this technology. AI is a big thing. You right from design, planning, execution, and operation. You can everything you can do through AI, right? If I give you an example of design, right? So you can have multiple options to look at, where you can, in the planning stage itself, you can decide, how the building will behave, right, under a different environmental conditions or different impacts. So I would say it's going to be implemented in a very big way. But right now we are at a very nascent stage. We are actually experimenting a lot of things. If I talk about my organization, we are talking to various technology partners, which I touched upon earlier also. To give you an example, Microsoft is helping us, on various initiatives. If I talk about, we are creating a tool through ChatGPT, which can summarize the entire tender, right? Okay. The tender is a voluminous document, right? Yeah. So if we can summarize that entire tender, it will be easily accessible to everybody to read it, right? And summarize that how what kind of conditions are there for us to bid. Right?
All right. Can this AI help me to make my research for such interviews easy?
Yes, for sure, for sure.
All right. Yeah. Definitely.
So a lot many things to do in this space, and I'm sure the future is bright.
Yeah, future is bright. Yeah. We are at the nascent stage, and which is why we are in the interesting times right now, and we are betting big on AI. But like, how about you? What trends are you looking at?
I mean, to pick up what Raman said, it is in the early stages. I mean, if I just maybe before I look forward, quickly look back, and from all those conferences and summits I was attending over the last probably decade, where 10 years ago there was already a big discussion about smart infrastructure, digitalization, sustainability, but it was all kind of like somewhere up in the clouds, kind of like not really tangible what will be done. Now we see more and more over the last years that there are tangible results which are being implemented, and I think that's still on a very early and in a very early stage, and there's still a lot to explore along, let's say, predictive maintenance, along energy efficiency, along traffic flows, on optimization, and on passenger experience again. And I think all these different areas where are now best practice examples are being showcased, that they are connected to each other. Yeah. And only then, when all these different areas where now smart infrastructure is being tested and trialed out, that if this is being connected, then that will really kind of enhance the overall experience and also reduce the cost for an investor like us, but also having a more efficient infrastructure available for then the people to use it. So there's a lot to come, and I think one area which on the construction side, which as we are airport developers as well, during the construction side of an infrastructure, I think this is one area of business where there's still a lot very much manually done, which could be way more enhanced. But of course, the whole ecosystem in such industry, construction is more locally, aviation is more globally, needs to work out and needs to kind of like go hand in hand. And I think that's one of the challenges. But I would say the future is bright. The technology is here. We just need to start using it and implementing it in the most smartest way.
Yeah. Of course, the future is definitely bright. You both have been speaking about AI. So AI is not the future, it is the present, is what I get from both of you. But how AI is doing that is a separate conversation, and probably we'll have this conversation after this panel. Well, thank you, gentlemen, being a part of this session. It was a wonderful session with you both. On that note, stay tuned for more such videos only at ET Studios NextGen Infra in association with ET Infra.